Hey guys, I'm Fabrice from Esha.
And I'm Dejan from Esha.
And over the years, we've been receiving many questions about all kinds of products, and we've decided to combine the frequently asked questions in new videos. And today we'll start by doing Esha NDX.